Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Starting half an hour late. It shouldn't really surprise anybody. That's just happens. It's just the nature of our live show here. Anyway, gotta wait for the actual stream to kick on. It's probably gonna be a little choppy tonight because it's a warm night. Whatever. But let's just get it going. There we go. Oh, I'll just mute that and keep. Why are there ads still on my channel? I really gotta demonetize. I don't really see a point to keeping that going. Okay. Cool. All right. And here we are. All right. Let's get us cleaned up. I'll show you what we might be working on. I don't know what we're working on, man. It's late. And I just, to be honest with you, I just need to blow off some steam. I don't know if how much painting or building or whatever we're going to be doing. So I'm in between projects right now, and I need to figure out what I want to do and how. So I have a bunch of like follow-up projects I could be working on, but nothing terribly pressing, you know, nothing that's really going to that's really going to affect much of my gaming. So here's one of the things I have in front of me. So I've got this guy. This is an Arena Rex miniature. He's pretty cool, actually. I forget his name. I know the stat card is here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. And he's like the old man. He's like the he's from the Legio 13. But he's a really cool mini. And I thought, hey, I haven't finished this guy, so might be worth a look. Look at all these stat cards. This is all stuff. Nope, none of that is anything I need, at least for this. I need to find the stat cards for this miniature. But anyway, that's an option. I could paint that guy, right? So here's him. I could paint this guy. I could paint this guy. This is from Wrath of Kings. This is the last Goritzi model that I have. He's he's Count Von something. Von Chocula. I don't know. I forgot his name. But he's the last of the Goritzi pieces that I own. And frankly, I do want to sell my Goritzi army. So that's a thought, too. He's just not a terribly interesting... Gregorio Don Cicero. That's his name. He's a really cool, interesting character in the fluff, but his mini is just boring me to tears. I don't really know what to do about that guy. So I've got these options. I also have this guy. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I have this guy who's in the Kickstarter. Completely useless if you don't have the Ravenscar Mercenaries. Not completely useless. It's just kind of a weird rank 2 leader for Goritzi, if you're going to do that. So he's a possibility. And then, another possibility is I could build my metal butchers. A little guild balled out right now. I've got the Alchemist team on eBay right now. Just got listed a few hours ago. So if you are interested in an Alchemist team, it's really cool. I did set the opening bid high. And I'll tell you what, I did set it high because I like that team. So I'm going to make money on it, or I'm going to keep it. That's kind of the way it was. The Brewers didn't do as well as I hoped last week. So I'm like, you know, it's an important time for me to have money, but at the same time, I can keep. Like, I can go buy another Hunter's Guild and paint a Hunter's Guild, or I could buy a fish team and paint a fish team. I know that those will do well on eBay. But right now, I've got the Alchemists on there. So the opening bid is high. It's like 200. But if you think about it, I think there's about 150, 160 in retail there. So you're only paying $40 for what I think is a reasonably good paint job. So so there's that. So I could build butchers, but again, I'm guild balled out. I'm gonna wait. It's probably not gonna be one of the options for tonight. So I have what I can paint some of this stuff. I can build. Honestly, if you want my honest opinion, I probably should clean if I'm going to do anything. This place is a disaster, and I gotta move. That's some news. We'll go over news here in a minute. So those are my options right now. And if you're the first one to comment, you can tell me what you think. Here's one more option that I'm really, really leaning towards for longtime fans of the show, which is like 2 people. But anyway, so I was digging through my Ninja All-Stars, okay? And these 3 are the crossover, not including Kunoichi Candy and these are the 3 crossover Super Dungeon Explorer miniatures. I think it'd be really cool to have the Ronin crossovers for Ninja All-Stars so I can play them in both games. And look at this guy. Come on. That guy's amazing. Like, and he's like a nothing paint job. He's like super easy to do. I'll probably be finished with that guy in like 15 minutes. So I'm leaning this way, but I could also go back to Arena Rex. Again, if you're the first person hopping in, let me know what you think I should paint or build or whatever. I'm going to try to find the stat card real quick on this guy. And then if you are tuning in, let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. We'll get into news here in a minute. Like, what did I do with that Arena Rex stat cards? It's on here. I just got. Okay, so here's some news. Some kind of big news for me. It's not big news for you guys, but it's big news for me. It might affect the channel. Actually, it will affect the channel, at least in some way, shape, or form. And that news is that I'm moving. So my wife and I, pretty cool historic thing for us here. We made an offer on a house earlier this week, and it was accepted, and that's really exciting. So we're buying a house, okay? We're buying a house. We're having our second kid, you know. So if you want to talk about money situation, this is a money situation. Let me tell you a cool thing about this, though. A cool hobby thing about this, and you can tell your significant others, because I know you will, because why not? It's a stupid story, but it's funny. Okay. Anyway, so we put this offer on the house. Then we met with the real estate agent. We met with the real estate agent, and the real estate agent is like, okay, we got to put a little. We gotta write a little bit of a check here. It's kind of a good faith thing, so that the buyer knows that we're serious about our offer, and you know, if he accepts it, then we cash the check, and then we're in escrow, right? So she has me like right there and then. First, hey, what's up, Troy? She has me right there and then write out this check. So I'm writing this check. It's not a small check for me. It's a reasonably big check, right? Because you got to throw some money at this when you're buying a house. You got to show them you're serious, whatever. And I was like, do I have enough in my checking account right now to deal with that? And I did, but I was like, no, you know, I need a little padding. I need to make sure I'm going to cover this and survive the rest of the week, right? So check this out. Here's what I did. So I write her the check, and then she gets up, and my wife and I are sitting there. While we're sitting there, I pop open my PayPal and proceed to pop open the PayPal and immediately proceed to dump some of the funds from my PayPal into my checking account. Now, my PayPal is all money that I've earned on commissions. So all those miniatures I've been painting for guys like you, Troy, for eBay, all that stuff. It's going towards a purpose, obviously. You know, you guys, my loyal customers and my eBay bidders, you guys have a really cool thing that you've done here is you've helped me buy a house. So I want that to sink in a little bit. Like, think about that. Like, you know, I'm doing pretty well on eBay. Got commissions going, that kind of thing. This is a hobby, and you've helped me buy a house. And so I dump the money into my checking account. I write the big check for the realtor, and I look over to my wife and I say, it's good to have hobbies. So, I don't know. I thought that was really cool. I know a lot of miniature painters and commission painters and stuff, you know, do cool stuff with their money. Like, typically the commission stuff I do is used for like childcare, right? So I use it to pay the babysitter. But it was cool to be able to use it for this. Like, it was cool to be able to throw that money out there and say, no, we're going to use my miniature painting money for a house. So I was going to ask if this is a new house or a first house you're buying. It's not a first house. I've owned a home before, but this is a new house, and we're going to be moving, which is a pain in the ass. But the good news there is we're not moving very far at all. I mean, we're moving a stone's throw away, right? We're moving within the short range band, and that's kind of cool. So we're staying, you know, we're staying reasonably close. The upside is we're going to have this really cool view, and the miniature area around it, like not the miniature area, but the microclimate around it's really cool. Let's see. I've been spreading the word that you're one of the fastest, fairest price commission painter. You will never have that 3 to 4 month wait period when you take it. That's true. Hey, I really appreciate it, Troy. Thanks, man. That means a lot. When you know, and I was telling you the other day that some of the guys on the some of the Guild Ball guys, not the main Steamforged guys, but like some of the guys that work for Steamforged are like, hey, man, I saw your stuff, and you know, I want you to paint something for me. So that's cool. I'm throwing out some trash. One sec. So, yeah, I have. So right now I have commissions that I'm waiting for to come in. I have a butcher's team that I need to build. But right now it's like this might be my night to kind of just blow off some steam and really take a step back. I mean, the house hunting stuff, the whole process with the house is really just beginning. But, you know, all the research, all the pre-qualification, all that stuff I did prior has got me a little bit tired right now. And so I want to do something for fun. I was going to put together like a fun RK miniature to paint for me. But, I mean, this stuff here is for me. And if I'm being honest, this stuff in particular is here for me. So if you have any thoughts, like if you think I should paint some chibi tonight, or if I should finish off this guy, kind of lean. I mean, I can go either way. I might just paint like one of these because they're cool, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna continue to look for this stat card for a second, and I realize that we are, as I'm mucking around here, we are kind of losing time for painting, and that's kind of a bummer. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I just need to, I don't know, it's good to just clean up a little bit and get my head clear on some of this stuff. I'm just going to throw out more of this stuff. Really weird is I should have those stat cards right in front of me. I don't know what I did with them, but they're here. I'll show it. All right. I mean, the other thing I can start to paint is I could paint like these Shrine Ninja. I could like put these together. I mean, start to paint them. The primer is still a little powdery on these. I don't know. Let's just put them up for now. Chibi is fun though. It's been a while since I painted Chibi. They're fun to paint. It's a fun little craft, you know. So, so like that miniature is so sweet, and so is this one, and so is this guy. And this guy's pretty cool. He's mostly just a standard. I'm gonna have to go through and do a standard paint job. All I've done with him is just a little bit of airbrushing. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's just I think I'm gonna do the airbrush stuff on this, and we're gonna go on from there. So anyway, yeah, let's paint some Ninja All-Stars. And we can talk, it's kind of good too, because we can talk about Ninja All-Stars. It's a game I've been wanting to talk about on this show for a while. But when I talk about games like this, it's usually better. Hi from the UK. Hey, what's up, Lewis? Thanks for tuning in. Actually, why don't you guys tell me, what do you want me to paint? Do you want me to paint Ninja All-Stars, or do you want me to paint this Arena Rex miniature? I'll leave it up to you guys. And frankly, I could go either way. I'm happy to paint both. It's just it's good to be painting something for me for a change. But not that big a deal. Look at all this stuff I'm gonna clean up. Ninjas sound great. Was checking out their range at the LGS recently. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Let's do that. I agree. Let's paint up some ninjas. I haven't painted any of the Ronin yet. So what I'm going to do then is we're going to do some airbrushing, and then we're going to start to work on some of the details. I could do one from start to finish, and if I'm going to do that, I'm not going to do that simple guy. I'll do one of these two. Let's see, who do I like better here? This guy's pretty awesome with the like baseball bat thing. He's pretty amazing. She's got 2 guns. That's also really cool. Anyway, let's get going. Turn on our. So you'll hear my compressor compressing. Hey all, hey, what's up, Michael Nicholson? Welcome to the feed. Again, I wasn't sure what I was doing tonight, but this is a good one. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked, man. So I'm gonna be moving soon. This room is a horrifying nightmare, and I'm gonna have to get it all up and ready to go. I mean, I look at like my painting desk, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to get rid of that. Look at this. We have to get rid of that, all of that stuff. Look at that, just stuff there. Look at this place is just horrifying. It's horrifying. If I were to pan around, you would call the you'd call those the therapists from Hoarders. They'd have to come and they'd haul me away. There'd be like a special episode, Hoarders with Play It Painted, and they'd have some therapists there trying to throw away my miniatures, and everybody else, like the normal, the sane world, would be like, what is this guy's problem? Why does he have to have all these little toys? And you guys would be watching along going, no, don't throw that away. Send that shit to me. So we could have that experience together. That would be me on an episode of Hoarders. But I am planning on having a few people, a few fellow gamers help me when it comes time to move, and I'm going to entice them with, I'm hoping to entice them with offers of free terrain. Because that's one thing I have way too much of, is I have way too much terrain. So that's if they walk out of here with free terrain, I think it's a good deal. They can help me move. I'll give them free terrain. Everybody will be happy. Yeah, but you've got a sweet collection though, dude. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right. Let's make sure my airbrush. Okay, make sure that's in working order. Let's get together some of our colors that we're going to be working with. Oh, shoot. Hold on 1 sec, guys. 1 second. I'll be right back. I got to get something. All right, back at it. So you remember how I was saying, like, I have too much terrain. I just got finished saying that. Well, I bought more terrain. It's not that bad. Anyway, here's my self-justification. Before you guys report me and I end up on Hoarders. So I bought these. Okay. I don't know what these are. They could be like miniature sci-fi building ruins. And I'm inclined to think that they could also be, I was thinking they could also be like, you know, technological crates that are kind of half buried in the ground. So they might be, you know, they might be 30 millimeter scale. But I bought these. I bought these at one of the LGSs out here called Brookhurst Hobbies. It's a really big modeling store, and they have all kinds of like old stock. Like they have the old stock on stuff, and they have this bin that I have. They have this bin of old resin terrain, and it doesn't have any price tags on it, right? So it's been my mission in life to eventually clear out that bin, and I'd gotten really far through it. That's another one of the reasons why I have way too much terrain. But I found this gem last week through here, and it was all in a bag. I forget the name of the company. The company is still around, but this is like really old stuff. Anyway, it's one of those things where you walk up to the front counter and the owner looks at you and looks at the bag and just makes up a price. And he always says $5, pretty much no matter what I bring up there. This isn't one of the better deals, but $5 for this stuff, I'm looking at it and like, you know, if this were brand new and it were in a reasonable package, I would pay, you know, closer to 10 for something like that. The fact that it's $5 is cool, but I'm not kidding you. I bought like fully painted resin towers and rock formations, all that stuff for $5, like big pieces for $5. And so I bought these the other day, and I have some plans because they're gonna go along with that. See how like techno that is? They're gonna go along with stuff like this. Here's another thing. Again, no price tag on this. Found this at Brookhurst Hobbies. So this is like, you know, I could use this as my engineer's goal. Really cool punk head thing. There's another version of it. They look like emerge safes. Here's another version. Here's one that without the pipe, like metal riveting. These are really cool pieces, and I got them for next to nothing. So when they start to, you know, when you guys call hoarders on me, and here's another piece. This was 4 bamboo walls, fully painted resin piece. And time I go up there, Henry, the owner, looks at me. Oh, hey, what's going on, Octave? I'm like, look what I found, Henry. And he'll go, oh, $5. That's what. That's kind of how it works. So that's kind of the deal. The other thing I got the other day, Milliput. So I'm gonna do more bases. So I got two packs of Milliput, the Milliput standard, the yellow gray. So good buy there. And because you guys were awesome and you reminded me, airbrush thinner, and I needed that. Here's how, like I'm almost out. We're gonna empty this out tonight, airbrushing. That's what I had to go get. And I got a couple of colors here. I got a pale brown, should be good. I'll probably actually use that tonight. And German gray, which is like a black gray substitute. I use black gray religiously. I use it as my black time, and for that reason, they just never have it. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. I was one of those people that reminded me, does the new house have a painting room? Unfortunately, it does not have a painting room. I'm going to have to move the studio. I like how us YouTubers call our painting areas studios. They're not studios. Well, in my case, it's a separate room. But I'm going to give up. We're still going to have the extra room, but I'm giving it up to be a guest room. So when you guys come back, when you guys come down and visit me, you can stay in that guest room. Which means I'm going to move my painting stuff into another room. But that other room will also have the gaming stuff. So that means when I'm doing this stream in the future, I will be hardwired in, and you won't have to deal with all the chop that you guys are dealing with. That's not a firm promise because, things change. But that's how I envision it going down anyway. All right, so let's see what we need for airbrushing. I want to do something like that. And probably need some white. And I got that dark gray there. Anything else I need? I need... All right, ready? All right, so we're gonna do the airbrushing stuff real quick. I don't know what I gave up. So I gave up like half an hour to see what we actually give up. Plus, we started late. Where are my gloves? There we go. I'm almost out of gloves. Oh shit! I am out of gloves. I have enough to paint these, but yeah, screw it. I'm just gonna have to go out and buy gloves. Here's your mission for this week. Remind me to go buy gloves. I don't know why that's your job. It's not your responsibility, but whatever. Okay. So what I typically do when I'm doing airbrushing, I really only use it for base coats, and I use it for a little. Okay, so all I'm planning on doing is getting the undergarments. I'm going to do kind of that light blue, like a cool blue for their stuff, and then we'll do a black gray to kind of simulate a steel look on the weapons. Okay, so blue, and this is going to be so easy to do. This is like nothing. Let me put this stuff up here. Yeah, the new house, it's like the same size as this house. It's not Orange County by the beach, so nothing here is going to be large unless I'm super rich. So buy my stuff on eBay, and I can afford a bigger house, but it's not gonna happen. But it had rooms. So from a technical standpoint, yeah, I could have the room the same kind of setup that I have here, but I'm just not going to. Especially with like the second kid on the way, I think I'm gonna have to get used to not having the separate studio. So it's all gonna be one room, the painting and playing. And I just have to be more minimalist about it. You know, I've got this huge collection of stuff. I sell a lot of it, but even after I sell it, I still have tons of stuff. Like I still have all that Helldorado stuff. And I really should only keep 1, maybe 2 armies for Helldorado. I still have stuff like Dead Man's Hand and In Her Majesty's Name. I still have all that stuff. I don't really need that stuff, you know? Who else wears this color? Here. I know. Just because I can, we'll just spray him. No reason. I'm just going to spray this guy. Might as well. I mean, it really, color this light really doesn't net me anything. I'm really just trying to get rid of it. What about this guy? Does he use any of that? I doubt it. Just spray him real quick. Yes, take all the rooms. One day, when my sons are old and they move out of the house, I shall have it back. We shall have the full studio, and I'll be one of those old guys. I'd like to be like when I'm an older guy, and I am an older guy, honestly. I'm not young, but I mean, like when my kids are grown and out of the house, I imagine like what kind of YouTuber would I be like? You know, am I gonna be like the you know, kind of jolly helpful guy like say a General Splatten, or am I gonna be more like a kind of a grittier, like real down to earth, super cool guy like Dread Lund, right? Those are like, or am I gonna be like you know, or am I gonna be, you know, somebody a little more mild, like a Ringo Simpkins, or one of those? Think about that. Like, what kind of old hobbyist am I gonna be? Am I gonna be? I don't know. Probably. I hope so. And do I see myself as more of like a General Splatten or a Dread Lund? Now, I think I'm cool, so like a Dread Lund, but let's be honest, I'll probably be more like a. I probably won't be that cool, right? Nobody can be quite as cool as Dread Lund. You can be one of those older guys complaining about how kids don't know the joy of painting, since everything will be 3D printed and painted by then. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I'll go on my rants and say, stupid kids these days playing Warhammer 40K. That's bad. That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, I could be one of those guys. That would be funny. All right. So this is Glacial Blue. This is really the white. If we are gonna do a white, this is the base coat for that white. All right. Real simple. Quick and dirty. Yeah, I can totally see myself being like, I'm just going to be one of those crusty old guys. It's like, paint stuff, and people are like, this guy paints cool stuff, but man, he just gets grumpy about stuff. I had somebody message leave a comment on one of my old Malifaux videos that was like, hey, that's really cool, and I know this video is 3 years old, but, you know, is there a second edition? Are you playing it? Can you teach me it? And I was like, there is a second edition, but I don't play it anymore. And then he got into like, okay, well, can you tell me why? And I was like, oh, no. I don't want to get into that. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just doomed. Maybe I'm just doomed. There is like, Malifaux is like the for this channel, it's like James Brown's I Feel Good, right? James Brown wrote hundreds of songs in his career. Hundreds of songs, really cool songs, really, really awesome songs. Like some of my favorite James Brown songs are like The Big Payback. You know, and Big Payback and just kind of the later stuff that he did, I really liked. But, you know, everyone remembers James Brown for that one song. Everyone remembers James Brown for I Feel Good. And frankly, I didn't think I Feel Good was a very good song. It's just kind of a simple, like, catchy tune, right? But that's what people are remembered for. They're remembered for their simple, catchy thing. Like, you know, if you're the guy that have you seen this guy? The guy on, he's on Sprint commercials now, which is funny. But he was the Verizon guy. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? That's all he did for like 2 solid years, right? Everybody remembers that guy. He had the glasses and the like dark jacket and jeans. And all he do is walk around, can you hear me now? And I used to say, that guy has the best job in the world because he's always collecting royalties for his airtime. And he can walk on any one of his commercials, and it doesn't matter, you know, what they might have changed in this commercial, who was directing the commercial. It doesn't matter what specific promotion they're covering in the commercial for Verizon. He only has the one line. That's why I thought his job was so perfect, because it's like he could just walk on set that morning, like he could roll out of bed totally drunk, just, you know, high on cocaine, it doesn't matter, and he can show up at that job and still do his one thing. Because he's really only known for that one line, they're only ever going to ask him line when he was working for Verizon. So I was like, this guy has the easiest job in the world. He just gets paid. That's thing the director has to tell him is his stupid line. I mean, even his wardrobe is the same. And so to go through all the meetings, he doesn't have one set wherever they needed him and say, "Can you hear me?" Oh man, we lost that whole segment, didn't we? You guys lost my whole "Can you hear me now?" diatribe. Whatever. So yeah. So there's that. So now that guy is doing commercials for Sprint, and the funny part is, so they actually gave him lines and stuff. And, you know, he talks about, oh, well, Sprint is almost as good as Verizon in terms of its signal and coverage, right? You know, and you know, so he's poking fun of himself. Like the guy's like a parody of himself. He moved over to the competition and is selling their service as opposed to Verizon service. He's still, and his job is significantly harder now because it's he actually has to know lines. Like the next commercial he does for them, he's not going to be able to just walk on there and go, "Can you hear me now?" So, but still, that guy, no matter where he goes, right? No matter what bar he walks into, no matter what commercial groupie he's scoping that night, they're all going to ask him to say, "Can you hear me now?" Like that's forever associated with his identity. He will never get away from being the "Can you hear me now" guy. Did my story go anywhere? I don't even know. Anyway, so you can see I'm just doing just a little bit of this German dark gray or whatever. I'm just gonna hit the base because why not? We're just messing around with the dry brush or with the airbrush. So I guess my "Can you hear me now" story, not all that interesting. I'll cop to that. That's fine. Still, I maintain that guy had one of the best jobs ever. Hey, what's up, Jeff? More Ninja All-Stars. Right. Yep. We're doing some fun ones tonight. We're doing the 3 Ronin that actually you can play in Super Dungeon Explorer. So that should be fun. All right. So now there's really only one thing left to do on these as far as the airbrush is concerned. And we're going to hit it with some actual white and just provide some lighting on it. Okay? And that's it. And the rest of this is good old-fashioned brushwork. I could continue to do the guy with the bucket on his head, for lack of a better term. I don't know what he's called. Madoshi of some sort. He's like a spellcaster, essentially. But I don't know what his name is. But yeah, he's just got a bucket. Amazing. All right. And we're just going to do a little bit of white. You can do, like I've done 60% of a Super Dungeon set with airbrush. And then just gone in, painted the eyes, the skin, and a couple details. And you're good to go. You can do that. It's just a trade-off. Like how much quality do you want each piece to have? For characters, you're probably going to spend more time on brush, but like when you're just doing minions and stuff for Super Dungeon Explorer, it's a great way to do it. So now we're just going in with white, and I'm just gonna, like it's basically straight up and down. I'm just gonna fire straight down onto the model. There we go. That's it, man. That's all you gotta do. And then for like blades like this, I'll show you what I'm doing. So you kind of hit the side of it, like real light, right? You can actually skip a color because I'm skipping the gray. I'm skipping a medium gray to do this. I'm just using white. Right? So you still with me? See how that's like you're not seeing much now. But I'm just gonna build it. I'm just gonna keep building it. And you'll see it start to gain little points of light on it. I'm gonna focus closer to the tip. There you go, you're starting to see it. And just build it up. And you go a little bit further than you go a little bit further, and I'll explain why you go a little bit further than you normally would. All right, same thing, just straight up and down with the white. So yeah, my wife is super stoked about our new house. We're starting to do all this planning stuff. She's got a pack while pregnant. That makes me a little sad, but it also makes me happy. You know, the living situation here in this current place is just getting a little out of hand, and we needed to change. You know, we needed to get out. We need to get into a place that's whole, and especially when our baby comes, I want the baby to come home to a nice whole place. And with the move, what's cool is I'll be able to get in, you know, scrape ceilings, paint, do all that stuff before we've got a box in there, and we can move in nice and clean. You know, we can move into a nice set up place that's, you know, not even a half mile. Pretty stoked about it, but also I'm stressing a little bit because there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done. And, you know, when you budget for a move, you always got to have a little bit of padding. You always got to have, you know, what expense or anything's going to come up. So, so right now it's just good to be able to knock out project for fun right now while we're just kind of in between bigger commission things. Okay. Now I'll just, and then we're going to get on with the painting. You know what, though? Kind of want to paint this guy's bucket head. Can I do that? Let's do that. We got time. Yeah, I want to paint his bucket head real quick. Let's go with... So let's do that just to show you what it's like. So we can go light brown, and we'll go light brown and Iraqi sand. That's what we're going with. Okay. And again, because it's so few models, that'll be good. Moving always costs more than you expect, but always works out. Thanks, man. The other good thing about moving is it forces me to clear out this hoarder mess and really streamline. You know, really get down to what I really need, what I don't need. And yeah, I'll probably give away a few $100 worth of terrain to people helping me move. But in the long run, I mean, am I really using that stuff? That stuff's actually costing me by being here and just being in the way, you know, being something that I have to haul around and worry about and move. I just want to get down to real basic stuff, and I want to kind of live a little more streamlined. All right, so there's that. All right. So there we go. And I'm going to hit that with a little bit of, then we'll move on. Okay. I'm going to show you guys how to paint chibi eyes and a little bit of flesh. And then I don't know how much time will be left over, but we'll see. We're just going to keep going as far as we can go. Between the two here, what would you rather me finish? The guy with the bat or the girl with the two guns? Let me know in the comments. All right, so do this last color, Iraqi sand, on my head. He's awesome. Pairing of colors, this light brown and an Iraqi sand. But to me, this is like the way to go with like wood wicker. This is like how this is the color formula I'm using to accomplish that. Okay. And again, this is just real quick zenithal. Straight ahead. Sounds good. We'll do a little bit of spot there in the front, and there we go. All right, so now I just clear this out, and let's do a little bit of painting. All right, so this is the green. We want to do bat guy. Sounds good to me. Okay. Chick with the two guns is fun too. She'll get finished soon enough. All right. There we go. And we can turn that off. All right. And we can take my gloves off. I'm going to save my gloves because we didn't do that much airbrushing, and I could probably use that to continue on. All right. So put him away, and I'll put her away. Actually, we might as well do both sets of eyes at the same time because it's actually a little bit easier to do it that way. Because I'm so used to batch painting, that's kind of how I do. Give myself a little drink here. I'm just like imagining myself in this new place though. All squared away, moved in. You know, we're talking. I mean, we just jumped into escrow, and we agreed to day escrow. So we're looking at, you know, mid-August move in. Probably going to spend a solid week there at the place prepping it before we do the actual move in. But man, I'm excited. Like, I'm excited. It's good. It's good overall. A little stressful, but it's good overall. All right. And dude, I guess we'll give them kind of like yellow hazel eyes. And then he'll have my dropper. So is it possible to talk about Game of Thrones without spoiling anything? Probably not. I'd love to, but I've been asked by people who watch this show, do not talk about Game of Thrones unless you label the video Game of Thrones. Because I talk spoilers, I guess. No, I do. I definitely talk spoilers. Just that's how I do it. Okay. So now that this is done, the first thing I'm going to do on these miniatures is we're going to do the eyes, okay? And then I have a style. It's fairly quick. The main thing, I think the main challenge with doing chibi eyes is making sure your shapes are good, because the method itself is not terribly hard to remember. Like the steps that you have to do, not terribly hard to remember. It's getting the shapes, the actual shapes right. So you got to be able to paint circles for chibi eyes. So the first step, take your black, gray, or whatever, and paint the whole orbits in. You don't have to be very precise at all when you do this part, but you do need to get the entire orbit. In this case, you paint a little bit more around the orbit. That's not a bad thing. Like, just make sure you get the whole thing in. Okay. So he's got kind of like an angrier face. I love her pistols. They're cool. These cookies gave me kind of like a chalky taste in my mouth here. All right. So just paint in the whole eye. Now they have like open mouths. I just take a little bit of that black and just dab it in a little bit of a water and make it kind of run in that mouth, kind of like you would a wash, like cheap wash, like that. Just let it run in there. Give it plenty of time to dry. This guy seems to be happier about his job. Okay. Just to give it a little bit of shadow, a little bit of definition, right? So there's his face so far. So now let's take some white. And I'm actually going to use a little bit of thinner medium to thin the white. Right? It's just going to make it easier. Right? You don't need that much white. Okay. Anime Expo is this weekend for you locals that are tuning in. I will be there only Friday. And the reason why is, well, I bought a house, so I gotta do some cleaning and some packing and stuff this weekend, because I got to start that process. It's going to be a while. You never really realize exactly how much stuff you own until you move out and move into something. So, but I will be there Friday morning from 10 a.m. to 2. If you want to come down to the Ninja Division booth, come hang out, play some games, visit with the cosplayers. Like I said, the booth this year will have, I think, 4 4 different cosplayers in it, which should be fun. And they're not just cosplayers; they do know the game, so they'll be joining in on some of the games. My shift, they're telling me that I will be running the party games, Tentacle Bento, Karate Fight, and that stuff. So that's actually a fairly busy schedule. I would prefer to be running Ninja All Stars or SDE or something, because that's a little bit more relaxing for me. But we'll see. We'll see with the other ninjas there. If they get bored, we can always swap out. The party games at AX tend to stay. That's a very busy thing, though. You get a lot of people in and out. But it's good. You want your higher energy people running that side of it. I don't know if I'm higher energy or if I will be higher energy. We'll see. So I'm going to paint in. Oh, I need a little bit more black in the mouth there. Whoop. There you go. Blow that dry real quick, and then just run a little bit of the teeth. This guy's awesome. I like him. Good choice you get the guy. I'll do her eyes real quick just because she's here. And I have to wait for the white to dry anyway. The white. So same thing. Although in this case, you want to get the whole eye, but you just like a razor sharp bit of that black around the eye proper. So you can tell I'm being more careful about where I'm putting the white. For her, I'm going to have to remember she's looking off to her right here. So when I put the pupils down, I don't want them to look face forward. That's going to look dumb. I need them to favor the right side of the eyes. I also have to decide what color eyes she's going to have. I think we agreed on hazel for the bat guy. But maybe we'll do let's do a medium blue for her. That'll be cool. Okay, so speaking of which, that's the oh wait, I gotta hit her teeth. Yeah, she looks a little pissed compared to the guy. The guy's like super happy to be there. She's like not happy to be here. Also, if you need to do 2 coats in the eyes, a lot of times you will need to. Ooh. So you see that shape is starting to get away from me. So I can clean that up. I can always go back and clean that up with the black gray a little bit. As long as the eyes themselves are covered. Okay, so that looks good. Looks like his eyes are also, they need another coat in there, so we'll do that. And then, so now we actually have to wait for those to dry a little bit. So I guess what I'll do is let's paint in the tongues. And we'll just use a tiny little spot of carmine red. In fact, so that's a little too red. I'm just gonna dump a little bit of pink in there as well. And we'll give that a good mix. When you're painting tongues and lips and stuff, the color I always shoot for should look like chewed bubble gum. If that makes sense to you. That's about the right color. With tongues, you can go a little bit redder than that, but you don't have to. Okay. So there's that. Let's do her little tongue. And she looks angry, you know? She's gonna shoot. You don't know her. You don't know her life. She's gonna shoot. Next up. So now we're gonna paint in the pupils, okay? And you can go straight circles with pupils. You can also favor the top or the bottom of the eye. So there's a number of ways you can do this. The main point is you want to cover the vast majority of the orbit now of the eye, but you're going to leave the white and the black showing, obviously. All right. So with her, she needs to look to her right, right? So, and I want the roundness, in her case, I really want the roundness to be the outer edge. So paint it this way. See that? So I've got like little crescent there. And then this eye, you'll see a lot more of the white because she's definitely looking that way. Okay. There you go. She looks a little angry. She looks a little pissed off. And we're going to do like a hazel eye for the dude. That's a little too light. Where was that cool light brown that I was using? Here we go. Use this light brown. And his eyes can be a little more centered. He is looking slightly to the right, though, right? Why do I keep saying right? He is looking slightly to the right. So his eyes won't quite be so focused on the right of him. The cool thing about Chibi is you get the eyes done and you do a reasonable job on the skin and the hair, you're in good shape. So now I'm taking that curved part and going straight up and down with it, because he is looking a little more forward. Ooh. So they screwed up there a little bit. That's not that bad. It's about right. I'll just widen the other eye slightly so that they match. But yeah, he's definitely looking much more forward facing. Okay. All right, next up, now we're getting to the easy part. So now we go back to black, and we're going to put a little black dot in the center of each pupil. Okay, there we go. And then same thing with this guy. His are going to go a little more straight up and down again. It's actually a little small too. Okay. Okay. So here we go. I'm really glad I caught this show. I've got a ton of chibi to get painted. Thanks, dude. All right. So there's the eyes so far, right? Not the best shape. I can clean those up a little bit, but we're moving through fairly quickly. Like I can come through. In fact, I probably should before the white starts to dry out. I probably should shape this eye a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so now there's one final step to do on the eyes, and that's to put the little white dots in, okay? And so what you're gonna do with the white dots, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do 2 white dots per eye, or you can do 1 white dot per eye. Now, frankly, I've done them both ways, and with the eyes, for me, it depends on the shape, the specific shape of the eyes. These models here have some of the smaller chibi eyes. When you start to look at, like, say, this model, the eyes are, you see how much bigger the eyes are there, and they're a little more square looking. You could do 2 dots on an eye like that. This one's a little smaller. You might do 1 dot, but it's entirely up to you. On these models, I'm going to do 1 dot, and again, if you don't like it, go back and do this. Go back and do the 2nd dot. It's not a big deal. All right. Now you're going to imagine where the light is. Again, most of the time with a model, light's going to come at kind of on top and slightly at an angle. So I'm going to have her kind of looking towards the light. So the white dots have to match up on the eyes. So they're going to be in the top left corner, which is her right corner of the eyes. Okay. And you want these dots to be as round as you can get them. But this is what really gives the eyes. Is the Ninja game separate from SD? Yeah, it's a totally separate game. But I have to pick these 3 Ronin because you can use these as crossover miniatures. So they actually have Super Dungeon rules for these 3 models. Okay, so I'm going to do that dot there. And then you pick the same, they have to match up. So you pick the same, essentially the same spot in the other eye. And the more round you can get this white dot, the better it's going to look. So don't just stab the paint on, like, try to round it out. Like, try to get a little bit of a shape on there. Okay. See that? Oh. So now she's looking really pissed. But now her eyes actually have they've taken on the right character. Like, look at this guy. He looks like a crack fiend right now. He looks like he's dead behind the eyes. Why didn't you come play Ninja All Stars with me? That guy's, yeah, he's a little creepy. Let's fix his eyes. So we're gonna put. I might do 2 dots on this guy. I don't know. Let's see. let's just, so again, a light up and to the right. So that's where I'm going to put the dots. And it's better if the dots intersect with the two colors in the eye. Ooh, I really chuffed that one. Not doing so well here. Luckily, you know, these are, get back in and repair them if you need to. He's still, I think it's these hazel eyes. They're a little weird looking. They're cool. A little weird looking. I don't care. I'm rocking it with it. He's just going to be creepy stink eye guy with a bat. I think it'll look okay, honestly. Oh, well. So I'm just going to reshape that again. With that white dot, you want it to be as circular as possible. Okay. He still looks a little, yeah, man. It's the color, I think. I don't know. He still looks like, especially with right now with the dark on there, he just looks like, man, looks like, okay, we're going to talk Game of Thrones. He looks like the Undead Mountain right now. He's going to prevent Joffrey, Tommen from leaving his room. Spoiler. Anyway, so now let's shape. Yeah, he's undeadish. Look at him. Look at him. He's had a rough night, man. He's and this chick is just pissed. She's just mad. Anyway, let's go ahead and paint. Well, I'm going to go with it. Let's just see if we like it. If we don't like it, whatever. It's painting. These are mine. I'm not getting paid for these. But I think it's hilarious. Okay. So now we're gonna do the base coats on these, and I actually want to use, if I can find it, well, I do want to use basic skin tone eventually, but I want to use sunny skin tone. Where's my sunny skin tone? Medium flesh tone. That might work. Medium flesh tone might work. I haven't used this. It's like I hardly ever use this color. Let's try it. Like I said, we're this on my own stuff. I'm way more likely to experiment. That looks not bad. So the thought is I could go sunny skin tone, or medium flesh tone. I think I'm leaning towards medium flesh tone. I think medium flesh tone's better for like more Asian looking models. No spoilers, but the season finale was awesome. I did like the season finale. I know I've spent a lot of time on my feed here complaining about kind of what I consider to be kind of sloppy writing this season. And yeah, I'm going to stick by that. I do think that the writing this season has been sloppy, but they do know how to put on like a good spectacle, you know? The showrunners do know how to put on the show that you got to keep watching. Even though you're like, what? How did that doesn't even make sense, that kind of thing. They still do a great job, honestly. All right, so, and I need some flow improver. Where's my flow improver? But yeah, I did like the season finale. I thought it was cool. They just, man, this season was like all about fan gratification, though. They really gave the mainstream fans what they wanted. I do feel like it is almost a little too formulaic in that sense. Like you get a perfect karmic universe where people get to do the exact revenge on the people that they needed to, and so on and so forth. But overall, it was fun. It's fun to watch. All right, let's paint our now Gravedigger Ronin, whatever we're gonna call this guy, with our now that'd be yellow, and it's not even hiding very well. This could have been a mistake, people. This could have been a mistake. It's not hiding very well at all. Yep. Okay. Good to know. Heavy skin tone is going to be the better way to start this. I can still make it work, though. It's just that black reshaping the black. It's going to take a few more coats than normal. That's just how good that Vallejo heavy skin tone is. That's such a great color for painting flesh. Look at this guy. He's funny. Anyone know the name of this character in Ninja All-Stars? I would go turn around and look him up in the book, but obviously I'm a little preoccupied at the moment. So now the goal is to try to trim down this black to almost nothing. Almost nothing. We can give him a nickname. Like we can call him, Undead Jim or something. We can call him the Chibi Mountain, or Beric Dondarrion or something. It's like he's been revived a couple times. He's still, as I'm shaping the eyes, he's still looking creepy. Okay, super funny. I'm eager to try him out in Super Dungeon Explorer. Like the all ninja party. The cool thing is you can use the shrine ninjas as like mobs for Super Dungeon Explorer, which is rad. So you have like a ninja. You can have a ninja themed game with a ninja spawn and a ninja mini boss. All right, so we're gonna keep pushing this closer and closer. And you do want to do it with this color. Like you don't want to do too much eye shaping with the base coat or the highlight colors. You want to do it with this undercoat color. What do you think? He's getting there. He doesn't look as creepy now, does he? Again, you want that black ring around the eye to get like as razor thin as possible. SDE is fun, Have you tried the Ninja Spawn yet for SDE? No, I'm actually painting it right now. That's why. I hope to. It looks interesting with the elemental affinity. That's a cool little rule that they added to reflect more of a, the Ninja All-Stars slant on SDE. Get it? Slant. Ha. Ha. I'm allowed to say that, guys. I'm Asian. I'm allowed to say slant. And laugh at it being kind of a racial epithet. Because it's funny. And you want to know something? So are you. You are also allowed to laugh at something like that. Because you are. Because we're freaking people. And we can laugh at ourselves and we can laugh at each other. It's all good. All right. Coming along nicely now. Geek Maximus. Have you... SDE is fun. I wish more people had it and ran it more. I've always got it, dude. Just let me know. I would be more than happy to run a game, because I've got the whole. I mean, I'm missing exactly one model for SDE. It makes me sad. I'm still missing that model, and I may not ever get it. But yeah, it's fun. I like SDE quite a bit. I love the new full co-op version. And Legends is hopefully going to make it even more streamlined and faster. Okay. There. See, he doesn't look so undead anymore, does he? He looks hilarious, though. All right. So anyways, let's get this down. This is going to take a little bit to dry so we can work on getting her skin coat. I'm offended at people getting offended. I am, man. I do get offended in people. When people get offended and it's supposed to be on my behalf, that offends me. I don't like that. I can decide what I'm offended and not offended by on my own. Don't need you to do it for me. And I'm not offended by a whole lot, so it takes quite a bit. Okay, there we go. Undead Jim is pretty cool. And I like that there's 3 of them, because I like playing 3 hero SD. It's my favorite mode. 3 people tackling on a 3-tile dungeon. You should be done in about 90 minutes if you can move things quickly along enough. I know a lot of people, one of their criticisms, and it's a valid one, of SDE is that it can take too long. And it totally can. If you were playing 5 tiles and 5 heroes, you're in for the evening, man. That's what you're going to be doing that evening. Not against that. It's actually fairly epic adventure if you play it that way. But a lot of times it's like, hey, I just want to play a game of SDE. And, it would be cool to be able to do something else afterwards. Right? So if that's the case, I highly recommend do 3 heroes and 3 tiles. Each tile should take you, if you're aggressive about trying to finish the games, like if you're not sitting there paralyzed with what you should do next, it should take you about a half hour to clear through each tile. Okay, now I should point out for the females, you can leave a little bit more black around the eye, but it's just as well not to. The main point here is make sure that you're not altering the shape of the eye, that you're not leaving weird corners or anything. Again, this model is cool, man. I like this chick. She is awesome. With the 2 little guns and whatnot. Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. I've got that Alchemist team, like I said. I put that on eBay right now. Because if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. And I'll keep playing that Smoke team. Smoke plays like how you would expect an Alchemist team to play. It's one of the weirdest things about Alchemists is like you expect them to play the condition AoE game, and you pick up their season 1 team, and you realize as you continue to play, hey, really the better way to play the team is to kind of formulate around Midas. Let Midas kind of be the superstar of that team and support him depending on what he opts to steal. You know, you can turn Midas into a scorer. You can turn him into a beat stick. And you want a supporting cast that can play one way or the other. So it's almost like not about condition game at all. Whereas a Smoke team, I found that the Smoke led team that I was playing, I was loading up Vitriol a lot, and I was loading up Snakeskin and Decimate, but I wasn't putting a whole lot of influence on Smoke herself. In fact, you know, Smoke was playing a lot more support in that area, so that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat that I'm playing a captain that's kind of the opposite of Midas. Like, you don't. She's definitely not the one-man team. You want to play her in a supporting role, and then you pick her. You know, she picks her spots. She'll pick that spot in the game to do her legendary play, and then suddenly, like, the whole bottom flips out. Those chibis look fun to paint. Tiny faces wear me out. Yeah, they do, man. The tiny faces for, you know, all the other games I play, Guild Ball, Batman, Wrath of Kings, all of those games, Relic Knights, they're fun. Paint faces are super fun. There. Let's get the bottom of her chin. She's coming along. I think she's cool. Her face has got really cool character to it compared to the guy. So right now they look like they're rocking a little too much of a tan. So now we're gonna start to mix it towards basic skin tone. We'll add a little bit more thinner medium, and we'll just provide. And it's kind of like using a wet palette, except we're not using a wet palette. You just add that and your basic skin tone, and we're gonna mix it up. Okay. If you guys have any questions or any like specific questions about how I'm painting or what I'm painting, or well, I can talk about Ninja All-Stars as well, because I'm getting excited about that game again. Ninja All-Stars, when it was about to launch, I wasn't that excited for it. I was like, this game is kind of weird, and it's kind of convoluted, right? Has some weird dice rolling mechanics in it. And then I started to look at it and figure it out, and look at it with that kind of Blood Bowl type understanding, and realize that that's really what the mechanic is. It's very much like the Blood Bowl dice mechanic, but it's a little more interactive in that the attacker and defender roll dice, and results can actually cancel each other out. Then when you realize that the game is quite a bit like Blood Bowl, in that it's not so much about just going on and trying to kill every model, that you actually want to, that positioning is super important, that objectives are super important, and that it's a much lighter Blood Bowl with a similar type character progression, then it starts to get fun. And so I'm looking forward to playing a bit more of the game, and I like all the named clans and stuff. I went through a kind of a flurry earlier, or late last year, early this year, to paint all 6 of those clans. the named clans, and so now I'm just getting over to the Ronin. I took a break from this mainly because Guild Ball kind of struck at that time, and I fell head over heels for that game. But it doesn't mean that I didn't stop liking Ninja All-Stars. I just think that Ninja All-Stars, if anything, if you're going to play it with your main game, it's perfect for that. If you're playing War Machine, if you're playing Infinity, whatever your quote-unquote main game is, this Beer and Pretzel campaign game that you guys can play in between your other games. So let's say, I'm just going to say Worm Hordes because there's a lot of people playing Mark III right now. So let's say you're at the shop or whatever with your gaming group, and you finished up a game, and maybe another couple of people have either finished games or just kind of waiting around. You can play this multiplayer, and keep a little roster of your team, and you can do that in between your main games. And so when you have odds and ends, like when you have 3 players, 4 players that are like, I'm a little too drained to play another full game of whatever, this is a great kind of multiplayer filler like that. In a similar vein as, say, like Arena Rex, but it's more complex than Arena Rex for its scenarios and its moving parts and all that. And especially the campaign mode. How cool is it that it's like, okay, we're gonna stop playing. We're gonna take a break for Infinity for a moment, and let's find out how my team is doing this week. Let's find out how my ninja team is doing this week. My clan Ika or whatever. That's cool. An all new war. Whoop. Oh, you're talking about War Machine Mark III. Yeah. So that's why I'm getting excited for this game again. I want to play it again. I'm going to try to get my local friends here to play a mini league with me. I have the 6 clans, and I'll just say, I'm looking for 6 players. Everybody pick a clan. I'm actually looking for 5 players because I'm going to play the Bird Clan because I think they're hilarious. And I gotta paint that chicken Ronin. I gotta paint chicken and hard gay because those Ronin are amazing. Like, I never thought I would see a miniature ever like hard gay. It's the weirdest, coolest mini I think I've ever seen. And some friends were telling me that mini is based on an actual person in Japan. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Ronin for Ninja All-Stars? I'll show you. Anyway. So now we're just... So you can see things are starting to move a little quicker. I can start to build my highlights on the skin with a bit of confidence. But man, look at it. I mean, when you get to this point on the chibi, the rest of it, man, is going to be easy, right? It's simple stuff. Once you get to this point, this is the hard part. Getting the eyes in, shaping them, and then building the skin up to the tone you want. The rest of this is going to be easy. Speaking of which, let's keep going lighter on the skin. So we're going to mix it with a little bit of... We're going to mix it with a little bit of this light flesh. And you really got to shake this because it's not suspended very well. So put some thinner there. I'm really just going to put like 1 drop of light flesh in it. We're just going to use it as the highlight color. Okay, 2 drops. It's fine. And I'll use a flow improver. Now we're going to mix it up. But yeah, you can see it's starting to look, these miniatures are starting to look right. I just love how much character you can put into the face of these chibis. Like, you can totally make this guy look undead. He still looks a little like he's got the stares. He still looks like a little creepy. Hey guys, like he's still weird looking. What am I saying? He's fun. So we're just gonna highlight the tops of the cheeks and stuff. Top of the nose, top of the cheek. And I'm using kind of a stipple to build up the color on the highest parts. All right. That looks like a creepy porcelain doll right now. Let's have a look. All right. He's fun. He's a fun guy. He's just had it rough, you guys. This guy's been on opiates all day. Look at her. She's just pissed. See that big area over her eyes? I could actually do like eyeshadow over her eyes if I want to. I used to do that quite a bit. It got a little too, what's the word? A little too cheesy after a while. Doing all the chicks with like perfect makeup on all the time. I think her face kind of speaks for itself. Like here's just a great chibi model. Okay. What do you guys think? What are you thinking so far? Yeah? Shooty guns. Shooty guns girl looks cool. Yeah. Might as well just hit this guy with a, since he's got exposed hands, we might as well just do his skin too. Even though we're not painting this guy tonight. Might as well. We're just waiting for stuff to dry. It's not gonna kill us to pick up the model and hit him for 30 seconds. There you go. Okay. She looks badass. Thanks, guys. Yes, she does. She looks, yeah, she looks like she's going to do some real John Woo shit right there, right? Like hard boiled. Like she's in it. This guy, I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't look bad. He just the expression on his face is just killing me. He's like super goofy looking. I think I need to whiten up his teeth a little bit. So let me hit his teeth again. I think I might actually need to shrink the black around his eyes a little bit more because he just looks out of control right now. Yeah, he's got too much of this like guy liner on. I get a little too emo. You don't know the darkness of my soul. This guy. Yeah, let's cut the rings around his eyes down to nothing. So it looks more like a sane human being. There we go. I'm gonna miss him looking quite a bit crazier. You like the hazel though? Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna bring the cut in around his eyes so. It doesn't look quite so crazy. So we're going from like Norman Bates to more of like Billy Zane. In terms of my looks here. Billy Zane wears a lot of like guy liner. Billy Zane, Richard Grieco. There. He doesn't look as crazy now. He's starting to look a little more sane. I think he looks cool. He's happy now. He looks cool. Okay. So let's move on with the model. So I'm gonna leave the extreme undergarment there, kind of the same color, and then we're gonna go with like a purple vest here, and then so it's gonna be the main colors here will be purple down the purple vest, and I can do purple there. This can be more of a blue, and then the bottom can be like I don't know, maybe like a white. We can go more white on the bottom. So anyways, let's get the undercarriage, as I call it. We'll take this, take a little thinner medium, and we're going to take a drop, and really it's just a drop of blue, and we're going to mix this up, and this is just going to give us a touch of shading on that undergarment. Okay, so this is like the blue mix. I'll put a little water in there too. This should be as thin as possible because this is going to behave like a really sharp wash here. Okay, and I'm going to use it. to get that part done. And then run along the sleeves here. But you can see what it's doing. It's just acting like it's like a wash, but now it's a lighter blue than, say, if you were going to use whatever, what's this called? Drakenhof Nightshade, or a regular blue wash. This is a blue ink, so it's more of a true blue. I don't think I'm going to do any of that on her. In fact, she's going to be, we're going to finish her later. I'll do one more like wash on her, but that's it. Okay. So there's that. I'm just going to kind of let that dry. Let's hit it with the purple now. This is the color. Like, this is the blue, violet, purple that we're using. And so he's going to be like kind of purpley and gold. Let's stick him on one of these. So there, now I can actually work with him on camera. It should be a little easier. I forgot how much fun I have painting Chibi. I love painting Chibi. It's great. All right, so here we go. Let me know if you think I need to take his eyes in a little bit more, because I will. If you think so. If not, I think he's looking pretty good now. But we'll see. If you guys feel strongly otherwise, please let me know, and I'll take his guy liner in a bit more. I think we're at Billy Zane level right now, so, and I'm okay with that. Maybe the pants should be, no, actually kind of like, should the pants be like more of a red? Or are we good with a white for the pants? Could also go green. Like, we could go with a green. That might look kind of cool, actually. Do a green thing for the pants. All right. Let's do like a purple bandana. Anime right now? Let me know. Right now, I'm watching Death Note. And I like it. I'm liking Death Note quite a bit. Everybody who's seen Death Note knows that there's one specific turning point in the show where something really major happens to one of the show's principal characters, and it's kind of controversial because it feels like the energy has been sucked out of the show after this change, and I'm feeling that right now. So it's like it's weird. Like, I'm having a harder time staying motivated to watch the show because of it. So I don't really know what to do. So any of you guys who've watched Death Note, like, maybe we could talk a little bit about like about that specific change. overall, though, what a fantastic anime that is. I'm really enjoying Death Note. I think it's cool. Been one of my favorite animes that I've watched in a long time. It's really neat what they do with the characters. The whole premise of the anime does, I don't know, it prompts a lot of really interesting questions that you have. You know, just for you guys that don't watch Death Note, the short of it is you know, it's basically, and the premise sounds stupid, but it's actually really good, guys. I really highly recommend it. The premise is there's this, you know, brilliant high school student, because why not? All anime happens in high school for some reason, who finds, you know, in a chance kind of thing, finds this magical notebook, and then says, if the name of the person written in this book will die. And so if you write a person's name in the Death Note and you imagine their face, they're going to die. And then there's a whole bunch of other rules too. Like there's specific ways that you can control their behavior as they die. You can determine the cause of death. And then there's even like there's demons attached to, well, gods attached to these Death Notes called Shinigami. And so when you encounter a Death Note, then you encounter a Shinigami, and you have this Shinigami that follows you around, and they, you know, they're the actual, they're like bound to the Death Note. So you become like their companion, in addition to being able to kill people by writing their names in the book. Anyway, our main character, Light Shinigami, no, I'm sorry, not Shinigami, Light, forget his last name. His name is Light, whatever. The main character decides, with this kind of power, after experimenting on some criminals and stuff, he decides that he is going to use the Death Note to create his utopian society where all criminals are punished, and he makes sure they all die by writing their names in the Death Note. And so he is given this nickname by the general public of Kira, which is funny because it sounds like Japanese trying to say killer, right? Kira. And so the central theme revolves around Light, or Kira, as he is trying to create his perfect world, while there is this like absolutely brilliant detective named L, whose task it is to find and take down Kira. So, and to throw another wrinkle in here, Light's dad works for the investigators. He's like the chief of police, and so Light and L encounter each other, and you've got this crazy like chess game of these two really brilliant characters trying to outthink each other, and they're kind of they become like frenemies, right? Like they're friendly, they're rivals, and they don't know. Well, L hasn't quite figured out that Light is Kira. He's almost certain of it in some ways, but the lengths that that Light has to go through to prove that he's not Kira, and all the whole like intrigue, cat and mouse that revolves around that, is makes for a really interesting show. It's not an action-oriented anime. And therefore it makes it perfect for like someone like me who wants a dubbed anime, heaven forbid, while I'm painting, because I don't have to look up at the screen and I can follow a story. So it's a really good one for that. And anyways, that's what I've been watching lately, has been this has been Death Note. And anyway, I really like Death Note. I think it's a great show. There's still that hang up, like I said, it's still a little weird what they've changed, and I'm gonna finish it. I'm almost finished with it. So it's exciting. It's cool. It's a cool story, and I recommend you guys watch it. So anyway, let's continue on here. You can see I love Death Note. Not sure why I waited so long to watch it. It was great. Yeah. I haven't finished it yet, but I passed that critical point I think that I'm referring to. And so it's like, I got to finish it, but it's like, I'll be honest with you. I'm having a hard time wanting to like keep up with the story because like after that change, it's like, man, I just feel like got the wind taken out of my sails here. But I'm told it's still worth watching. It's still a great show. So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to soldier on. All right. So now let's go and let's do a little bit of like NMM here on the around these medallions. So he has it's like a little bit of a gold medallion here, and he has a gold one there on his fan. Then he's got a insignia or something like a symbol here. I think it's like a moon with the symbol in it, like that. Okay, and then finally, let's do a little. We'll work here on the handle of his blade. Okay. All right, coming along. All right, so let's paint the let's paint his hair. His hair is going to be like a black blue. So I'm going to do that black gray. I'm going to mix a little drop of blue in it. So you got just a little bit of an anime tone to his hair. Yeah, Death Note's cool. I need to find another anime though. So if you guys have any recommendations for an anime that coming up, that's important for me because again, it's something I'm getting while I'm painting. I need to have a dub. So, or I need to learn Japanese. One of those two things. The dub is the easier thing to do. So I'm going to ask. We do a dub. So now I've got kind of a really, really deep navy color here for the hair. Anyone doing anything cool for the 4th? I'd love to. Have you seen Samurai Champloo? I think I watched like one episode of it on Adult Swim many, many years ago, but I never really dove into that. That's an interesting recommendation. Somebody else was telling me too that I might want to have a look at that. It's kind of an older anime, but that's fine. I'm totally down with that, as long as it's a cool story. And I know for a fact that does exist in a dub. So thanks. That's a good suggestion. I probably will try to fire that one up once Death Note's over. For me, I can do that. Thank you. Have you seen Log Horizon? I have been through like an episode and a half of Log Horizon, and I plan on continuing with it. That's a longer series. I'm really I really kind of prefer like the 24 episode type, 12 to 24 episode series, but Log Horizon looked interesting enough for me to dive into. So these are good suggestions, guys. I really appreciate it. So yeah, Samurai Champloo, especially in light of what I'm painting right now, right? Man, he's starting to look pretty slick. What do you think? I think he's starting to come together here. Like he's just being base coated, but you can see when you get the skin and the eyes done, like the rest is a joke. Like you can, once you get that part done, he's just gonna look rad pretty much no matter what you do to him. As long as you don't mess up the face, he's gonna look good. Totally forgot to do the other symbol here. Quickly shade it. And do the little hairband. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool, man. I'm excited. This guy's looking pretty awesome. I love that he has a baseball bat and a fan. I know that's not the actual name of this weapon, but that's what I call it. I think I may have just found my new main for Super Dungeon Explorer. How fun. You've come a long way, Undead Jim. You're no longer a weird looking undead guy. You're now kind of a legit looking cool samurai guy. Right? Mm. And then let's do a, what's that? Iraqi sand. Where's Iraqi sand? And do a little work here on the base. Well, yeah. So if you want an alchemist team for Guild Ball, have a look at eBay. I wonder how much, like chibi stuff would sell on eBay. Wondered that many times. How would stuff like this do on eBay? No idea. Okay. So I'm really just kind of doing a top coat there of the wood. All right. So now I do need to get a little more white on here. And I'm going to mix that with, I'm going to actually mix that with a glaze medium. Because I need to be able to work this highlight. So glaze medium will give me a little bit of open time. So let me show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take edges and just edge highlight specific parts of the bat. You don't have to do everything. Just where you think the light will land. Right? And I'll show you a little method I use for calming it down, because it's going to look like there's too much white. You'll see. Right? It's going to look like there's too much white on this, on the baseball bat. We'll do that number. Another thing to note about mixing with glaze medium, it's going to dry down more clear than it was when you painted it. So like as white as that looks in spots, it's not going to be that white when it dries. And we're going to do something else to this too to make it more believable. I'll show you, actually I'll demonstrate on this guy, right? So we did that zenithal, and I'm just going to take this white glaze and hit the edges of the blade and even the inside edge. I'll put a little bit there, right? We'll do that on both sides. Okay. So you guys earlier saw what I did with the airbrush. Where'd that girl go? There she is. So for her, just because it's the pistols, you just do you're just gonna hit the very edge here. That's even that's a little too much. Okay, so now it's just a quick matter of washing it. And you can do like a black ink glaze, which is kind of cool because that will give you a little bit of sheen. So we're going to take this glaze medium, dump that there, and we're going to take some black ink. I can find my black ink. There it is. Put that there. And a little, just like 1 drop of water. Boop. And we're going to mix this up. So the idea is we got to get it's going to be this will be a little richer than a wash, be a little more intense, but a lot more controllable and with a little bit of sheen, okay? So here's my blade, right? It looks real crusty right now. Nothing interesting going on there. Now I'm going to hit it with this. Hit it with the ink glaze. And it's just going to define it, and you can take some water and start to brush away the glaze on the high parts. Let some of that white show through. Just pull it away. There's a nasty mold line on this. Good job noticing that. I did not notice that. All right. But see, with my ability to control it, I can actually drag this and put shadow where I want it. Right? That doesn't look very good, I understand. But if it's too intense, again, just take a little bit of water, put that on your brush, and just drag things back towards the shadow, and you'll be okay. Right? So now, that takes a long time to dry. That's the downside to that. But here, let me do it again on her guns. You can kind of see. It's more than just doing like a Nuln Oil, because you can move it around. Now, for something like a gun, it's not that important. You just want to hit the shadow. It's not that important to have a gradient on the gun. But you're getting it. Okay? So she's there. And now let's do, so we're going to do this guy's bat. That's where I'm at here. Okay, so we're going to do the bat. And that will, you can see it's defining all of that, but and it while calming down the crazy white highlight I had on there. So this bat's going to look cool. Okay. So far, so good. Like I said, if I got too much on there, just remove it. Dampen your brush a little bit, pull it right off. That's what I like about this. Okay. And then you can even do the top of the sword here. I want. And it doesn't look like it's going to work that well. It's fine. All right. And there's him. We'll get to highlighting his hair a little bit. And we're going to wash the rest of him. We're just going to pull out our handy dandy washes. Where's the ink? No. Crud. I'm going to have to find my purple ink. I think I have purple wash here too. So that's an option. Green ink. Here's purple wash. All right. Let's do a little bit of purple ink on the purple. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. Have you seen someone highlight using a standard pencil? Saw a guy painting World War II stuff using it one of the guns, sort of a highlight effect, I think. That sounds like a really cool idea, and I'm sure it's going to work. That's awesome. Really creative solution. I've never seen that before. That sounds cool. I got to try that. So you can just use the, so in other words, he just used the pencil to kind of do a soft shade on a gun barrel. Is that, am I hearing you correctly there? That sounds really cool. Anyway, moving along with this guy. Looking pretty cool. Just the standard graphite number 2 on the gun. Yeah, that sounds cool. And I'm positive that will work. That's awesome. All right. So there's that. Let's do the let's do a little field tan green on the green. So now I'm just hitting it with a whole bunch of different washes. And as long as you're careful about applying your washes, it should look fine. You should have decent definition. There we go. Now I need strong tone. I'll hit the whole base. Strong tone. Yeah, that sounds cool, man. I got to try that now. That sounds awesome. So you can see now I'm just adding definition to the base using strong tone. There you go, man. Looking pretty good. Or in fact, we're like almost done with this miniature. I'm just gonna finish it so we can finish up a piece tonight. What is? I guess I'll use this. It's fine. So I use a little yellow ochre. I'll just think. Okay. And now finally, I'll highlight on the hair. I'm telling you, we're just about wrapped up with this dude. I'm going to do a real rough cut on this. So I'm going to use my bigger brush. Any questions or anything so far? This is pretty straightforward stuff we're working on here. Love painting chibi though. So fun. I'm just gonna rough cut a highlight. You can see what I'm doing there with the hair. So fun. What do you think? I just added a little bit of white to my like dark blue gray mixture. And I'm just highlighting up, like up from there. So you can just keep adding white and bringing it up further and further. You don't really want to do too much of that though, because you want the hair to look pretty black. So I'm just gonna, with this much lighter white, just gonna do a little edge highlight there in here. And really that's it. There's not really starting to come together. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. They're just fun. Like, I feel like when I'm painting these, like this kind of stuff, like I feel like I'm just free to play around with it until I'm happy. Like a lot of the other scale miniatures, it's like, oh, I have to get it right, and I have to get, it's got to be right. I got to get the color scheme right. This one I like basically just made up as I went along. Right? My highlighted black always turns into a gray geezer look. Yeah, I mean, well, one, this isn't a true black. It's actually got a bit of blue in it. And then as long as you're reasonably diligent about where where the fine highlight ends up, you're going to be okay. You might even do like a little simple fine point of white there. And then just take your brush and feather it out. Like start there, take your brush, feather it out. It should look pretty good. Again, it's a chibi, so just go nuts. Look at that. Yeah, looks great. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, he should be fun. He doesn't look so undead anymore. Still looks a little, to me, he looks a little marionette scary right now. Still gonna pick on this guy's look. Still looks like, hi, I'm Chucky, wanna play? Like he's still, still funny. I don't know. It's getting too late, but I don't care. It's funny. Oh, the other thing I need to do with this guy is I actually need to paint the area around the base. And I do that in a standard black. So once that's done, well, we'll basically call it. He does look like Chucky still, right? He's like, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play?" Like he's still. I don't know what it is about this guy. I'm just gonna keep making fun of him. He's just a funny. He's got just the funniest look on his face. I can't figure it out. So I'm gonna not paint in the little diamond there so that you can tell what his facing is gonna be. Dude is Chucky though. And he wants to play. Painting the base is the most satisfying part. On these, it's not as satisfying because it's just this flat area, and it's kind of bums me out. I like painting the round base. You know, the round lip bases. This'll do though. This character is fun. I should have fun with it. I'm bringing him to Comic-Con with me. So we'll play an STE game with him. I don't even know what clans he can fight for in Ninja All-Stars. I'm assuming Earth is one of them because he's got like that look, like he's got that Earth type look to him. But yeah, he's cool. Let me give let's do a couple minor things. I'm taking a little bit of Iraqi sand. I'm playing there, the bottom of the medallion thing. Take a little bit of purple. Just do a quick highlight on the purple. Well, it really doesn't take much, man. Once you get the eyes and the skin on a Chibi Mini, the rest of it's pretty much autopilot. It's not going to be... And I go pretty minimal on the highlight. I don't need you to see that I've highlighted each and every single edge. Just where the light is going to be, just put a little bit there. That's all. Doesn't need to. You don't need to highlight up to white. Again, it's Chibi. Should look a little cartoony. Okay. So I think that's gonna do it, man. That's it. Let's let me put a bunch of stuff away so you can see what this guy looks like. But he's fun. Oh, before I forget, let's hit basket head here with the little sepia before we go to sleep. So that way I can, if I feel like it, I can finish him tomorrow. So this is real quick. You just hit it. Just hit him with the sepia. Okay. And it's now midnight, so that's perfect. Perfect time. Let's see. So when you paint over the Zenithal Prime, do you thin your paint so it shows through? Yes, you thin your paint a lot so that it shows through. That's kind of the point. I go minimum, like my even just regular painting, I thin 1:1. That's the starting point. Then often it's like you're going, 4:1 or more to paint over your Zenithal Prime. I use a lot of inks and glazes. I use some washes, but inks to me are where it's at. Like if you want that intense color, but you don't want to have a totally opaque thing, inks are where it's at. Anyway, here's the guy. Here's the dude. I could still stand to shape the eyes a little bit better, but that's him. That's him basically. He looks. I think he's cool. I think he's gonna be a lot of fun. Anyway, so that's it, man. Let me know, like, if you guys have any final questions or anything before I sign off. But that's him. He's great. He's fun. Next up will be the other two, and then I'll paint generic shrine. So I have minions now. I have enemies now for this. The eyes are much better than before. Okay, so he's not quite so dead behind the eyes. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. That was fun. It's been a while since I painted Chibi, and you guys, the followers of this channel, know I painted hundreds of Chibi, literally hundreds of Chibi, between all the SDE stuff and Ninja All Stars, and I would just binge through and just do dozens of them in one go. I painted so many sets of Super Dungeon Explorer. I don't even care to admit how many I've done, but I just like the style and it's fun. It's more fun. It's not, you're not like laboring over every little tiny detail. You're just trying to get like a fun cartoony look out of the model. That's it. And I love it. And you play around with it, and then after a while, I don't know. Some people tell me that they really struggle with Chibi. And for me, it's like, no, this is just kind of, I don't know. It's just mess around with it, and then it looks cool, and you're done. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank all you guys for watching. Hey, good, by the way. You guys that said, hey, let's do this one. Fun choice. Anyway, I totally agree. And can't wait to do a little bit more Ninja All-Stars. I need to do a battle report for Ninja All-Stars because as cool as the playthrough demo was, that's fine. But you guys that have never played it should actually see like clans go at it because it's fun. Anyway, that's it. Have a good night, guys, and we will catch you on the next one.